G'day fellow miners and welcome back to my Feed the Beast Unleashed test world. Well, it is actually a new test world because I went on a big clean up rampage on my computer and I deleted my old test world. So it's a brand new test world, it's all clean. Today we are going to do a bit of a, I guess it's kind of a block spotlight. It's more of an item spotlight. We are going to be looking at the Division Sigil. The Division Sigil comes from a mod called Extra Utilities. It's a pretty rare find. I've been chatting with a few people about where they found theirs, and I've spoken to the developer, but the consensus is in the Feed the Beast Unleashed pack you will find the Division Sigils mostly in the obsidian structures that Thaumcraft generates. If you're using, say, if you're using Extra Utilities in by itself or in another mod pack, you more than likely will find them in dungeons, stronghold dungeons, jungle and desert temple chests. But yeah, as far as I can tell, the best place to find them in Feed the Beast Unleashed is in the obsidian structures that you find dotted around the map that are put into the game by Thaumcraft. So yeah, you get basically you get the sigil as is, and it says here it's inactive. You must perform an activation ritual. We are going to go over here and we are going to grab an enchanting table and some redstone. And it is past midnight, so we're going to wait for midnight and then we are going to do the activation ritual and show you that. Okay, so we have an enchantment table and we have 8 redstone, and if you take the enchantment table, place it down, you can see that if you shift click on the enchantment table with the sigil, it will sit down the bottom there. Altar does not have a redstone circle, Altar can see the moon, Altar has sufficient natural earth, Altar must not be lit by outside sources, too early, sacrifice must be made at midnight. So you need a sacrifice for this, so we're going to get a lead. That's a lead. We might not have leads in this. We'll get some wheat. And we'll lure this cow over here. Come on. Come on, cow. So you need to have an animal present. And it needs to be midnight. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay out the... We're going to break this grass first. We are going to lay out the redstone circle. So it's just a redstone circle around the outside of the enchantment table. And if we shift click again, it has sufficient natural earth. So it needs to be, I believe it needs to be grass. Come on, moo cow. And it's still saying it's too early, and Altar is in sufficient darkness. Altar can see moon. So it has to be, it has to have an unobscured view to the sky. It has to be on enough grass. And it has to be in complete darkness, not darkness, not artificially lit. So if we drag the cow over here, go away, zombie. Oop. And then we're going to cheat and we're going to force midnight. And if we do this, perform the sacrifice. Boom! Oh! And straight away you can see that mobs spawn in a crazy abundance on that purple soil that's there, and we're going to look at that in a minute. Actually, I'm going to cheat and make it midday, and you'll notice that as soon as I made it midday, the soil started to burn and disappear. So you have to, if you're going to harvest it, you need to have a silk touch tool with you. Oh, so many mobs. Alright, we're going to get out of there. You need to have a Silk Touch tool with you. That zombie is not going to burn. Let's use our amazing railgun to kill him. Ooh, I got a Lego hat. Alright, I think most of it's despawned. There's that creeper still there. The skeleton there. Yeah, so you can harvest this stuff with Silk Touch. Ow, stood in the... And you can see it takes some time to get destroyed. And if you stand on it, you take damage, I believe. No? Yeah, you do. If you jump on it. There we go. Yeah, if you jump on it, you take damage. But this is called Cursive Soil. So we'll just look that up. Or Cursed Earth. And Cursed Earth, if left in darkness, will spread onto grass and dirt. And it can be actually used to make a kind of fairly useful mob trap. But that's a bit of a side effect of the game. Let's get rid of some of this junk. Sorry, a bit of a side effect of the activation ritual to get your Division Sigil active. And if you can see here, it says active number of uses remaining 256. So we are going to cover some of the uses for the activation the Division Sigil right now. Okay, the first ability we're going to look at from the Division Sigil is what it can do to enchanted weapons and tools. So basically you place an enchanted item above the Division Sigil, and then if you put a blank book in and you have a look at the sword, you notice that all of the enchants on it have been reduced by 1 level. And it's taken a little bit of damage. And we can do that multiple times to remove all of the enchants from the item. And eventually, I would say it'll probably get destroyed. But you can see it's very low durability now. And it has no enchants on it. Not entirely sure what use that is, but you can actually use it to remove specific enchants. Now, I'm not a big fan anymore of fire aspect on weapons because mobs that are on fire attacking you can actually set you on fire. So you can use this to remove an unwanted enchant from an item. So if you have fire aspect 2 on your sword, you can take a fire aspect 2 book, place it in the crafting bench under the sigil, and it will actually remove that enchant and not affect the other enchants. So you can remove unwanted enchants from your weapons and armor and tools. For example, if you got a sword with Bane of Arthropods on it, and you don't want Bane of Arthropods, you can just get a book that's the appropriate level of Bane of Arthropods and actually remove it from the sword. So that's kind of a fairly useful little ability for the Division Sigil. Just the first thing of, just the first one of many. So we will go on and look at the next ability for the Division Sigil. Okay, so the next use for the Division Sigil is a really interesting one, and it is a new resource, basically. You can see here, it's called an unstable ingot, and if you read the description, it says error divided by diamond. This ingot is highly unstable and will explode after 10 seconds. Will also explode if the crafting window is closed or the ingot is thrown on the ground. Additionally, these ingots do not stack. So you have to be ready to craft your item with the ingot straight away, and we are going to craft one item just to show you how dangerous this is. So we'll take our Division Sigil, we'll take our diamond and our iron ingot, and we take the unstable ingot out, and straight away you can see it's changing. It's going redder, and if it gets to its full count, it will explode. And I might actually do that. We'll grab a crafting bench. I might actually, we'll go away from here because we don't want to blow up our nice area. You can see all of this tainted soil of cursed earth is gone now. So we'll pop the workbench down here. We will divide by diamond. Actually, we'll do 2 ingots. And you can see that they're getting redder and redder and redder and redder, and oh, there's a countdown. So there we go. Unstable ingot explodes in, and this is probably going to kill me. Yes, there we go. So yep, you saw how big that explosion was. So I will be back after I collect my stuff. All right, I collected my stuff, and we're going to move on with the spotlight. The next thing I want to show you is this builder's wand. It's a very interesting little tool. It took me a little while to figure out how it works. So basically, you can see here, whenever I hold my mouse cursor over a face of this block, you see a little ghost block version appear of it. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to actually place items from my inventory on the ground, like so. Now you might be wondering what the point of that is, and you could probably see it right then, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'll do, we'll do a 7. You can see here, it makes it really easy to build large structures. 5, 6, 7. So we have a base for a tank. And we'll just pop a valve in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put our walls down, but we're only going to put down the first layer. And you'll see why shortly. So what we can do now is if we highlight the top of this, you'll see as we right click, it actually builds almost all the way around. So it builds up everything that is the same, but that's in contact with the blocks that we're highlighting. So we can do that again. We can just display that again. I actually might fly to do this. You can see, and it's placing down blocks in almost a complete ring pattern. For some reason it doesn't do the whole thing though. Oh yeah, I've run out of blocks. So until you run out of blocks, it will continue to place blocks in that fashion. So a really useful tool for builders. There's actually a creative version too called the Creative Builder's Wand, which doesn't require you to have any blocks in your inventory. It just generates them on the fly for you. So yeah, that's the builder's wand. Again, we've run out of our building material. But yeah, I find that a really useful tool to play, and you may actually find these builder's wands randomly in chests as well. But we're going to go on with the next item, so I'll be right back. Alright, so what I've decided to do is I'm just going to get rid of that steel tank valve. I'm going to actually craft these items. And we might start with the shovel, just to show you that it can be done. Boom. Shovel. There we go. This is called an Erosive Shovel, and the biggest thing about this shovel is the fact that if we take a bunch of sand and a bunch of gravel, and we place down, actually, where's our wand? Let's be smart about this, shall we? Boom. There we go. Interesting that it doesn't want to build there. Oh, there we go. Now it's not now. Okay, so the Erosive Shovel is about something like 5 times quicker than a diamond shovel, but the biggest benefit of it is when you're dealing with these gravity blocks. It will actually destroy the block, all the blocks above the one that you are digging. So it's really, really good for removing gravel. Probably wouldn't use it on sand because it doesn't drop. You can see nothing dropped from it. It's also pretty quick at harvesting dirt or breaking dirt, as you can see. But it doesn't drop any blocks, so it literally destroys the blocks. So you can see, we can do the same with sand. You can see it destroys all the blocks above as well as the block you're hitting. So that's a useful little tool if you are, if you've got an area where there's a lot of, say, dirt and sand and gravel that you want to remove. It's really, really slow on anything else. If you try and use it on stone or cobble or anything like that, or it takes longer than it would take your fist to break it. So that is the Erosion Shovel. Pretty neat little tool. And we're going to go on with the next tool. Okay, the next tool we're going to look at is the, it's called the Reversing Hoe. So we need 2, this is going to be interesting, we need 2 unstable ingots. Oh, I'm going to blow myself up. I am. Whoa, they went to flashing. Oh, wow. I believe you can actually, no, I thought you could actually use the number keys to put items into the grid up here, but it doesn't look like you can. Maybe it's numpad. No. Anyway, so this is the Reversing Hoe. Now, the Reversing Hoe has a few sort of interesting but almost useless properties. If you right-click a crop with it, it actually reduces the crop's growth, so it removes it. It sends it back one stage. Only seems to work on wheat though. Doesn't work on carrots, doesn't work on potatoes, doesn't work on any of the feed the beast crops like cotton or barley or anything like that. But yeah, that is a kind of a fairly useless ability. Its main ability though is, if we jump down on this, it will turn dirt back into grass. So if we go over to, this might already be grown back, but if we go over here you can see we can just convert this dirt back to grass. And over here we can convert this dirt back to grass. Another thing that it can do is it can reverse cobblestone to smooth stone. And you see it's not using any durability on this, so you can do this forever. And it will allow you to continue doing. Is it going to let me do it? No. And maybe because, interesting. Ah, there we go. So if we click all of these, we can turn all of these to smooth stone, which could probably come in handy. If you're like working in an area and you want it to be smooth stone and you want to like fill it out, you can use cobble and then just use your Reversing Hoe to change it back into smooth stone. So that's the Reversing Hoe, and we're going to move on to the next tool. Alright, this is going to be a real test. We are going to try and make the pick. Yes, there we go. Alright, so this is the destruction pick. This is similar to the shovel in that it will work really, really well on basic blocks. So you can see how fast it's breaking these blocks, but you can see that it isn't dropping anything. And on anything else, it's about as slow as your fist. So we should have some Oh, I'm going to get some cobble. And we'll put down some cobblestone. See how quick it goes through cobblestone. You see it doesn't go through cobblestone quickly at all. It takes quite some time. So through natural stone, it is much faster than a diamond pickaxe, but it will only mine regular smooth stone. So again, it's sort of more of a constructive tool. Probably not really that useful in Feed the Beast Unleashed because you have so many other faster tools for doing that, and it's a bit of a pain to make. But yeah, that's the destruction pickaxe, and we're going to go on to the next tool. Alright, so the next tool we're going to look at is the axe. So we're going to need to divide by 3 diamonds, and we're going to need to be just as quick as we were with the pick. Oh, this is not good. I'm going to blow up. I'm going to blow up. I'm going to blow up. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Whew. Okay, this is the healing axe, and it is interesting in that I'm going to need to take my armor off for this to actually work properly. It's interesting in that if we take a cow and we'll punch the cow a couple of times, do a little bit of damage to it. You'll notice that when you use the axe on something that has like loss of life, or missing hearts, you'll take damage and it will heal for about 4 times as much as the damage that you take. So there we go, we healed the cow to full. Now this actually works on undead as well, so skeletons and zombies. But as I said, it's based on how much damage you take. So if you damage the cow and then you hit it with the axe while you're wearing power armor, oops, settle down, bro. You'll see that it heals very little because you are taking very little damage. Your armor is actually absorbing a great deal of it. Obviously for lower tier armors, it will be slightly less of a reduction in the amount of healing it will do, but with the power armor, it's definitely kind of garbagey. But you can also see here now that while we're holding this axe, it is replenishing our food bar, which is kind of pretty useful. So that, I think, is an interesting tool. It's not very good at chopping down trees. If we go over here and find a tree to cut down, it's actually pretty crappy at chopping down trees. As you can see, it's about the same speed as using your fist. But we heard a skeleton then. We can probably, and a zombie, we could probably risk taking our armor off. See how much damage we can do to these guys. Where are they? Oh, they must be underground. Oh, there's an angry zombie. Let's see how much damage we can do to this guy. See how much damage that did? I believe it does quite a lot of damage, so it's pretty effective against undead. Yeah, I don't know whether I'd use it as a primary weapon, considering it's based on how much damage you take from hitting the mob. So yeah, that's the healing axe, and we're going to move on to the next. Well, this is a weapon. Okay, so the next thing we are going to have a look at is the sword. It requires 2 ingots. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Now the sword is supposed to be slightly better than a diamond sword. It is also supposed to do a small amount of magic damage, which bypasses armor. So if we look at this spider, we hit it with the spider, we did 4 damage with the etheric sword. And 4 damage again. But with a diamond sword, we did quite a lot of damage. I think I might have critted then, but the diamond sword seems to do a lot more damage than the etheric sword. That did 3. Ugh. And that did 7. So yeah, you could see that. Oh wow, so many mobs. And look at this guy wearing oh, I'm nearly caught on fire. Look at this guy wearing full armor, my armor. 3, 3, 2, 2. So it's doing about the same amount of damage to a mob with armor. So yeah, not really that useful. Again, well, this is a work in progress, and a lot of the mechanics on these tools and the sigil will likely change. But that is the etheric sword. You see, it didn't take any durability damage, so that's possibly what sets it apart. But we're going to move on to the next item. Before I go on, I want to quickly talk to you about the fact that these tools cannot be enchanted. Tools and weapons cannot be enchanted in a regular enchanting table. Some of them can be enchanted in an enchanting plus. You can actually put efficiency on this, on the destruction pickaxe. I'm not sure whether that will make it a lot better. Oh, you can put efficiency on the shovel as well. That's interesting. Yeah, okay, so there we go. You can only put unbreaking on the axe and the hoe, and the etheric sword unbreaking as well, but as it doesn't take any durability damage when you use it, it doesn't really matter. But it's interesting that you can actually place efficiency. You can place silk touch if you want, and fortune if you want on these when they, you know, don't actually return anything. But interesting that you can place efficiency on these. I don't know how much faster it will make them, but that'd be interesting to check out. You might want to check that out yourself. But we're going to move on with the rest of the spotlight. Okay, the next item we want to have a look at is the Sonar Goggles. And the Sonar Goggles, I am probably going to blow myself up making these, because you require 4 unstable ingots. And they go, yeah, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Oh boy. Holy cow. Alright, so I might actually... No, that's not what I wanted to do. I might actually cheat a little bit here. Turn this world to peaceful, because it's going to be a pain to actually show you how these things work. Now, what these things do is, when you are in total darkness and you wear these sonar goggles, you can actually look and see things like caves and where resources are. So you can see I'm looking directly at this tin ore, and it's saying that there's tin ore. It's highlighting the tin ore. They are a little hard to use, but you can see there's an ore there. So if we were to dig towards that, where it's an ore or a pocket of something, it was a piece of amber, and you can kind of use these goggles to explore your way around, and maybe even find like a hidden. So there we go. You can see a block on its own back there. And it is that stuff, cinnabar ore. So these they take a little bit of practice to get used to know what you're looking for, because they can be kind of confusing. But you know, so you can see a big pocket of ore down there, and it is force ore. So they are kind of useful, particularly if you're hunting for diamonds, although it is extremely dangerous, because if you do have any form of light it will stop them from working. So there you go, you can see that they no longer work while there's light around. Well, they work very sparingly. But yeah, so that's the Sonar Goggles. Let's get our head back on, and we'll head back to the test area for one last item. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the last item that can be crafted with these unstable ingots, or this division sigil. And this is probably the best block or the best item that you can make with the unstable ingots. And it is this stuff here, Ethereal Glass. Now, this is really useful in that if we go over here, let's say to this tank, and we knock out, we'll just use this because it's a structure that's here. You put the Ethereal Glass in place. Let's put a 2x2 door here, and then pop this down. You can actually pass through this Ethereal Glass, but if we get some bad guys, we'll make it we'll make it night, and we will get some. We'll get a creeper. Oh no, it's 64 creepers. Skeleton. Well, spider's probably not a good idea because he can get right over the top. A zombie. Spawn a witch. And we will spawn. That'll do. So if we get up here and we throw all these guys down, and they're all aggroed on me, you'll notice they cannot get in through this glass. It will not let them in. You can pass through it, but hostile mobs cannot. So that's a really neat way of like blocking off an area. Maybe if you want to cap a hole in the ground, you can use this Ethereal Glass. Nothing can fall through it. I believe it stops rain as well. So this is probably my favorite block, which is crafted from this division sigil. And it would be the reason that I would look for one of these things. Most of the other tools, beside the building one, most of the other tools are fairly sort of innocuous and don't really have much of a use. This is, like, extra utilities is still a work in progress. These guys still aggro me. Yeah, extra utilities is still a work in progress. It is not a, it's not a completed mod, so there is still more stuff that the mod developer is going to add, and most of this stuff is still sort of work in progress. They're not sort of finalized. The recipes and so on aren't finalized for it, and the abilities for some of the stuff. I would say that the division sigil is still not totally complete, and it's still sort of being worked on, particularly with that enchanting thing. But that is the division sigil and all of its goodness. I hope you really enjoyed this this item spotlight and you found it useful. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and keep on digging.